All right, so now we're going to add the code that's going to handle actually turning our club when we want to press the button. We're going to press the right mouse button, and that's going to turn our club left and right so that we can aim where we're shooting. So let's go ahead and open up our club controller script. We can get there by clicking on scripts, going to the provided folder. Maybe it's better to see it here. So we go from resources to scripts to provided, and then double click on club control there. Again, your script may look a little bit different than mine. You may have more or less code here. Just keep in mind that that's because of the difficulty levels. And by the end of this, you guys will all have the same code. So regardless of what you see, we want to go right up to the top of our script below all of our variables here. And what we want to add is a method that's going to be the one that turns our club. Methods are what these little things are, where we have a void telling us what our method returns or what information it gives us back. If it says void, that means it doesn't give us any information back and it just runs the code. We have the name, so in this case it's update. We can make the name whatever we want. And then we have the two parentheses that tell us what arguments our method needs. If the parentheses are empty, then that means that the method doesn't need to get any information when it runs. And then the two curly brackets define what code to run when the method is called or when the method is told to run its code. So between our variables up at the top and the first bit of code we have in our project, we're going to add some space. So we're going to click in there and press enter a few times to give ourselves some space. And we're going to type void turn club, open and close parentheses, and then the curly brackets. And so now we have a new method called TurnClub, and this is what's going to handle turning our club for us. Later on, we'll hook this up to our input so that we have the ability to hold down right-click and turn our club accordingly. So inside TurnClub, what we want to say is float mouse x equals negative input dot get access. And then inside get access, we're going to say mouse x. So what this is going to do is input.getAccess mouse x is going to get the data from our mouse regarding where we're moving our mouse. And as we move our mouse left to right, this is going to tell us how far we've moved our mouse left to right. The negative is going to flip that. So for example, if we move our mouse left, input.getAccess might have a value of -1, but we want to flip that because when we move our mouse left, we want to turn our player to the right. And you'll see how that works out once we add the input part of this. Next, we're going to add the line that will actually handle turning our club. So we're going to say transform, which is the transform this script is on, or our club as a whole. I'm going to say transform.rotation. Oops, helps to spell rotation right. There we go. We're going to set that equal to, this is a big word, so bear with me here, quaternion. So that's Quaternion dot Euler. You may have heard me say Euler in the past, but this is actually pronounced Euler. And we're going to put in the parentheses here, we're going to say transform.rotation.Euler angles plus vector3.up. And again, make sure you're matching my capitalization and everything here. We're going to say vector3.up times, which we get the time symbol by holding the shift key and tapping 8, times mouse x times swing speed modifier. And then outside of our parentheses, we add our semicolon. So that's going to do is basically rotate us around the y-axis or the upward axis, which means we'll spin around the left or right directions. It's going to rotate us around that at a value of how far we've moved our mouse. Again, that's what this mouse x is, this input.getAccess. And it's going to multiply that by our swing speed modifier, which is going to basically speed that rotation up a little bit. Once we've got that done, we can go ahead and save our script.